Hi, I am Samantha Ngo. I teach at 96 High School, which is in the heart of South Carolina, in Greenwood, South Carolina. And I have always been a by-the-book teacher. I teach high school math, and so standards are very important. Getting through standards, we know that there are like so many for each grade level, and we're about to have a huge shift and change that there's just this pressure to make sure kids are where they're supposed to be. And so with my classes being 90-minute blocks, I always thought that if I wasn't utilizing every bit of the 90 minutes to teach academics, then I wasn't doing my kids a justice. And so I would build most of my relationships with students through either like club activities or just volunteering, doing like working a game or something like that. But that wasn't making deep and meaningful relationship with kids. And so we did a program back at the beginning of the year calling Capturing Kids' Hearts, and I am probably the first to say that I thought a bunch of that was just like, okay, this is just somebody making money and getting rich off of this, but these ideas aren't going to work. Like, we have got to get through standards. How do they expect me to get through standards and take time out of my classroom to do nonsense? And so I said that because that training had such a meaningful impact on our faculty and how well we had come together, that I wanted to try something new in my classroom. And so for 15 minutes each day of my class, we do Bellringers, which is just like our opening thing, that they come in and they have to write 1 to 2 sentences during this like quiet time of reflection about questions that have nothing to do with geometry. I teach high school geometry, so absolutely nothing. I mean, like, do you want to be a pirate or a ninja? I think one question was like, what kind of house do you want when you get older? How do you feel about second chances? And things like that. And so we started out real basic at the beginning of the year with like very like not below the belt kind of questions about just little things, and like progressively we got a little deeper with it so we could see who each other was. And I was like, okay, these are going to be my guinea pigs, because there's no way come December I'm getting through all the standards, but we're going to do this and we're going to see. And then come December we had gotten farther in my classes than we had actually gotten in years. And I don't know if it was like because what I believe it was because of is that the students were just so much more invested in what I had to say because I was invested in what they had to say. And so we used that time, and it developed into something much deeper. But it started out with just like, I'm getting to know the kids. Like, if you want to be a pirate or a ninja, you wouldn't believe the number of kids that told me like, I got to be a ninja because I can't swim. Pirates live on the ocean. Or would you rather speak to your old self or your new self? And how many kids would say, well, I want to go back and fix something. And so that you could see like they were human and they knew right from wrong and things like that. And during this time, we took the time to develop standards of what it looks like to listen and talk to each other, because due to COVID, like so many teenagers and adults, kids, just lost the ability to know how to have a conversation with someone or listen in big groups or small groups. And so we talked about how important it is to put the phone down and how important it is to not have in earbuds and AirPods, even though they're off, like you seem distant or disconnected, and how important it was to like not be sleepy. Like, even if you are and it's been a hard day, like fake it till you make it and show people you care. And how important it was not to have the side conversations where to us, it seems like we're not really taking away from them. But then if we look at it when it's our turn, it seems real selfish because nobody's listening to me. I'm not important like those other kids were. And so by developing that, I realized that I went from a math classroom of kids that don't like math, that wouldn't ask questions because they're too shy or they didn't know what to ask. They didn't want to sound dumb, to I'm going to ask because now Miss No is not going to let them. She didn't let them make fun of my answer the other day on the Bellringers, so she's not going to let them make fun of me now when I'm doing my classwork. And so I'm definitely not like the end-all be-all teacher. Like, I have so much room for growth, but this has been one thing that like has really made an impact on the relationship that I have with students. And I've benefited from it more than my students ever could have. Like, I've learned and grown, and just having the empathy to see like some of these kids deal with deep issues and they don't want to talk about them, but it comes out in what they share. And they become human to their classmates. So whereas their classmates might not be empathetic, like, oh my God, they're asking again, were they not paying attention? oh, okay, well, they obviously just stayed up because they told us how much they work at this job or what kind of chores they have when they get home. And so they start feeling like their classmates are people. And it's a cultural thing that like has become super important. And geometry is still super important. But the thing about it is that my content has to come second nature to developing business ready people. Like my students should become very good like citizens in knowing how to work a job and when it's important to have a phone versus not. Like there's so many employers now that complain that their employees stay on their phone like the whole time they're working, and it's because like as parents and as teachers, it's our job to train them on what this looks like. And so I just think it seemed like a big waste of 15 minutes. Like I would be the first one to say it. Like that's just another one of those things. But it has become a part of the culture in my classroom that I deem the most important because it just seems so critical, like to know the kid. And now they do so much better in my room. If I could have told myself this 15 years ago instead of waiting 15 years of the importance of time and how much time slips away with us not knowing people, I would have changed a lot sooner.